Hey, I wanted to talk about boredom because I, you know, lately I've been realizing I don't have to get all anxious and afraid when I feel empty, when I feel alone, when I feel bored, when my thoughts start going crazy and just having all these flashbacks from the past and all these worries for the future and just all these upsetting thoughts. And I'm like, oh, my brain is kind of having all this stuff go on because it's bored. Like, I don't have anything else that I'm putting in front of myself to do, and so my brain is just kind of like, I have all this energy and I'm trying to do something, and I'm not happy with what I'm doing now. I'm bored, so my brain's trying to fix it, trying to problem solve, trying to logically think. It's like I can't turn it off. And so I was thinking about this morning, actually just a few minutes ago, or on and off throughout the past few weeks or whatever. And I was thinking that with boredom, when I was younger, I would use substances, or I would just have a lifestyle that was very high intensity that keep me from being bored. And that would you know, be kind of intense so that I couldn't afford to have all these negative thoughts. Like, my brain was just occupied with other stuff, right? When I was homeless, when I was traveling around doing work exchanges, using substances, all these things, it's a way to manage your thoughts. And in managing your thoughts, you manage your emotions, and you can feel safer and not always be off in these not present imaginings of the mind, and rehearsing and memories and all this problem solving our minds try to do you know, with the best intentions, but it can end up being really painful and distracting and overwhelming, especially if you have, like how I have most of my life, like you don't have insight into what is happening, and so you just believe your thoughts and take it literally, and you just think like, oh, I'm crazy, or everything is destroyed, or there's no hope for the future, and then you just feel like pointless, and you're even less capable of helping ease the boredom. So so today I've been thinking about, like, what does that look like for me, because boredom is really frequent. And if I'm not judging myself in the ways I stop being bored, and I'm just like, as long as it's safe and I have an inclination towards it, it's good for the moment. Like, it's that next step, that who cares if it's optimal in some kind of theoretical way, or if it is like it's what works for the moment kind of thing. Having compassion for myself, that I do have limited options, that I do have limited resources, that I do have a compromised, unideal set of circumstances I'm working for because of my past, I was raised, cultures I was exposed to, just the corruption and the effect of lack of resources on people in the world, and just, like most other people being affected by that. So trying to imagine, like, what does it look like for me to not be bored? The thing that comes into my mind is, like, I want to be doing things with people. Like, I remember when I was younger, I loved working on farms. I had a lot more, like, hardiness than I do now. I was actually, like, it was not good environments a lot of the time, working on farms, but hey, I had fun with it still. Like, in my 20s. So working on farms, but basically, when I was in my 20s, I just learned, like, doing activities with people. Like, I love that. Like, I love that feeling of meaning. Like, that is what is emotionally motivating to me. That is what takes away the boredom for me, feeling safe. Like I am kind of silly, and I could very easily see people as, like, my family, you know And just a sense of like, I'm here with my family, like people I care about, we're all taking care of one another, like having that security and that appreciation from one another over what we're doing. But then, there's that desire to ease the boredom. And then there's also the logical strategies, like, oh, I should learn how to knit. I should just go and cook all day. I should. And it's like, oh God, I'm doing everything alone. Like I don't want to cook just for myself. I've done it in the past, sure, but ugh, I don't want to knit like just trying to learn it from a YouTube video or something or a book, and like that's not emotionally motivating to me. That is not accessible to me. That's not an accessible way for me to learn. It's not fun. I'm just going to get frustrated and bored. I'm going to get confused. You gotta have compassion for yourself in order to work with who you are, instead of always trying to be like, no, I have to do things the hard way. I have to do things the ideal way that will make other people admire me, or so that I can have ground to also tell people off for like not being strong enough or whatever. So, yeah, I've just been thinking like, oh God, boredom. It's such a frequent a frequent thing, and when you think of going, or what, for me, like when I think of trying to join groups, go out and do things, like I've stopped trying to do that because my experience is that it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel safe, probably partly for reasons on my side and the other people's side. Like I don't know, like I don't feel secure in who I am. I don't have that foundation of family and friends and that long practice dynamic with myself, where I am my own best friend. Like I've been doing that for the past year, but before that, that was not present at all. And you need that foundation to even be able to know who you are, your identity, to represent your actual boundaries and needs in relationships, your compatibilities and interests, so that you can even have rewarding relationships. So, um, I'm just like, I don't even have this like basic foundation that allows me to feel certain about what environments I should go into, or to see the red flags in environments to be like, oh, this isn't compatible for me. Because I've tended to go into all these environments that are meant to be like community activities and stuff, where it's like, oh, like nothing, like you guys do your thing, happy for you, but it's not compatible for me. Like these hierarchies where, no, it's like expected that, no, like people aren't able to share their thoughts and their feelings freely, and like I don't, I have a little bit, um uh but and sometimes it's been good, but um there's just all these fears of being like, oh God, like none of us actually know each other or trust each other, and people are being dishonest, or people are just like, it's like a performance. It feels just fake. It feels not trusting, and it's just like another layer of reaffirming my trauma, or because I'm trying to go into environments that have that emotional intimacy, and to be witnessed for who I am, and to witness and celebrate other people for who they are. So these kind of, it's just not the right setting. These kind of public, generic, open to whoever community events, community is, the community there is more about just like doing activities together, um, rather than having emotional intimacy. And that is my need of the moment in order to get rid of this boredom, this fear, this sense of being stuck, this lack of motivation. I'm really big on, of course, talking to myself for how I can feel safe, and you know take effort to take care of myself and all that. But at some point, you just have to be practical and pragmatic and be thinking sustainably. Like, I'm using so much energy to do everything manually, to try to change my thoughts and emotions and keep myself doing the right thing. Like, oh god, that'll just come so much easier if I have a different environment that just like makes everything so much easier. And that environment is like safe people you can be emotionally intimate with, and fun, stimulating, interesting environments where there's a bit of a challenge, but there's also fun and interest, like intellectual interest. And that's why I loved being on farms when I was younger. But I kind of have this fear towards farms because, one, I'm still trying to get my mental, physical health in order. And two, financial insecurity. You can become an indentured servant on people's farms if you're just trying to do work exchanges and you don't have any like agency of your own, you know? Definitely have experienced that. And um, in general, I have a lot of fears about like that sense of being like, oh God, am I just like a vagabond again? Like, what is my future going to be like? How am I going to how am I going to have money for the future, have a place I can live at, have control and power in a really good, healthy way over my quality of life, so I can be in compatible environments, so that I can be in an equal standing with people and not feel like I'm just always like a sidekick that I have to be quiet and do things other people's way because I'm not actually the owner, you know, or I'm not the person who deserves to have decision making power because I, you know, and then people will guilt and shame you into like you're like if you're so if like you want to have power, like you have to go get it yourself. Don't and it, ah, it's hard when you're just trying to have there be fairness, and then you're scarred by people who don't see fairness the same way. Anyway, I don't want to get too distracted, but it's hard trying to find ways to not be bored when, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit in timeout kind of like in this the past like 4 years of my life, or not even 4 years, I would say more the past like 8 or 9 years of my life since I got out of homelessness. And I feel like it's like, ugh, I kind of have to rebuild my health and my mental health and get a healthy foundation before I can then go out back into the world and have fun. I'm like, ugh, I want to have fun now. I want to start letting the fun trickle in now, so that while I still have the, I don't know, it's so hard trying to balance everything with financial security and stability for the future. But anyway, everything I'm thinking about is like years in the making, all these changes, and it's a very different thing to have insight on the general map of things. Like, just because I like something I've really realized in this past year is just because I have a general theoretical map of something, it doesn't mean that I am not going to have a lot of unexpected challenges along the way. Like, the map is just an image of the generic terrain. It doesn't reflect all the actual things you experience when you're on the ground, like going through what the map represents, you know? And I'm just like, God, can't there be good things too? Does everything have to just be bad that you go through while you're trying to get to that safety, to the goal in mind, to that inner feeling, to that financial stability, to that the family, the chosen family, to the greater health, you know? And I think part of it is that all of this trial and challenge and this real, like, it is serious business going through all this in life. Like, it is serious. And that's why on the other side, once you get there, I think it'll feel really rewarding and really like just like a huge weight of relief and insights you can have access to before. It's gonna be really good. I'm like, ugh, but God, yeah, that'll be nice. But ugh, isn't there a way that I can just like kind of keep things level? Like, I don't want to be like down, so I can go up And then I'm like, well, what if I go back down? And then, I just want things to be like good, good. And I don't know. Anyway, I don't want this to get to be too long. Thank you for listening and hope it's helpful in some kind of way. Okay, bye.